Welcome to part three. We're joined by Kent, uh, all the way from Belfast. We had a few tech issues earlier. We're getting sorted now. How are you doing, Kent?
Also, how's it going, bro?
All right, mate. I like that picture you've got on background there of the big dog.
It's fantastic. I just absolutely think Alexander Usyk is just not just an amazing boxer. He's just an amazing human being, Russell. He's just
Yeah.
a not just an ambassador for boxing, just an ambassador for mankind. And that's actually him wearing a Cossack hat,
How
Cossack warrior
it is.
hat. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Good bloke, Usyk. You never seems to lose his cool, does he? We all hype and around boxing and that. He never really seems to bite, does he, or flip his lid?
No, he's just a man of I've no words for him. He's just a great person. He's the ultimate. He's like a samurai. He gives absolutely nothing away. He's a pugilist specialist in every level. He's fantastic. For me, he's my favorite, one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Good. Right. John Coffey, did he eat too much cornbread or did he just lose his arse or was he not good enough? What do you think about it all from the beginning now, looking at it from how the fight was sold? They sold it on the fact that they said he was robbed and it weren't a low blow and the O6 on slide and all that and he's now banging people out, John Coffey, and then we've had George Fox and his dad and all that, the house party and all that. Take me through it all, Kent. What do you think? What do you think really happened?
I just think, as what we spoke about on the channel, was he was never good enough, never good enough, and he was going to get a beating, even worse. You asked me this twice, and I said it will be even worse this time. He will get a beating, and Usyk is always better the second time around. He's like an AI boxing computer. He
Okay,
just
then.
finds ways.
Okay, well,
What
let me just put this to you then, because I agree with what you just said there. Right, they sold it to us that he were going to do this and going to do that. And every now and then he'd pipe up one of John Coffey and go, oh, I'm going to create chaos. Where were the chaos on the night?
the only chaos on the night was in his camp and in his corner. I've always been somebody that's always kind of stood up for Don Charles and always kind of been respectful of him. But the way Don Charles got on and the build up of that fight was utterly disgraceful, and it looked like it was Don Charles was just angry at everything, and the very fact that he was angry at was that he was there. He's there being told what he needs to be doing. You know, Don Charles was never in control of that camp. I wouldn't even class Don Charles as his trainer. So it would, because there was multiple people in that camp doing multiple things. And if he was any man at all, when his dad was piping in on the corner and telling him, you say, will you go away, shut up, and get him out of the road and take control of that corner? Because that whole thing was absolute. The only chaos that they brought was themselves, and it was an absolute joke. And there's George Fox's son, who has done nothing as a boxer, like nothing. We all heard all this hype about him, and Terry was always talking about how good he was going to be, and he's done absolutely nothing. So I think they just completely embarrassed themselves. And I look at Daniel Dubois, and I look at him as a guy that doesn't even want to be there. I don't even like think he. You ask Daniel Dubois, five past heavyweight champions, and I don't think he could probably tell you any of them. I don't even think he wants to box. It's almost like his dad's behind him, pushing him into the ring. He does not love boxing. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if you never seen him fight again.
What about Bricktop? Why is he not? saying that John Coffey quit. And if it were anybody else who'd say he'd quit, then when he were asked the other day, he said, "Oh well, I need to speak to Daniel first." Well, why? Why? Surely you had your eyeballs open on the night. You saw what we all saw. Why can't you comment?
Because he's protecting his own interests. That's what he's doing. He's waiting there for him possibly to come back and possibly fight Fury and try and flog him again, try and resell him again. I honestly think this time, like if you look what high boxing is and commercially, I wouldn't invest in Daniel Dubois. I wouldn't invest money in advertising or in gambling or anything like that in Daniel Dubois because I think he's an absolute liability.
Yeah, it's you don't think he'll fight again? No. What
No,
about Don Charles's performance on the night? Why is he letting the father control everything? Why didn't he walk away? Mark Tibbs walked away from him, didn't he? After 2 sessions.
because he's not a man at all. If he was a man at all, he would turn around and say, you know what, this isn't for me. It's either I'm in charge here, I'll take control here,
Yeah.
or I'll walk.
We get Tony
He's not a man.
Bellew's stick, don't we? B-side Bellew, but he called it correctly, really, this. And he just said
Yeah.
he wouldn't have his dad interfering with Bombay Dave on the night. So why has Don Charles, an absolute brass, let the dad walk all over him? He should be embarrassed, shouldn't he, really, Don?
Because if he walks early, he doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
Simple as. Simple as. That's the way it works. He wants paid. And if he was any man, any credibility at all, he'd have turned around and said, "You know what? I'm walking here. This isn't for me. It's either my way or the highway." But you look around that camp, and there's all different people doing pads and training and doing this. It's absolutely chaos. So it is. And I remember Shane McGuigan saying a couple of years ago, this was when the cracks started appearing in that camp, and someone asked Shane about, Daniel, and he basically said that you could be drilling something with him in the gym for weeks and he'll get it. Then he'll totally forget it again and he'll not be able to do it. And his sparring was so inconsistent, and it was so inconsistent in what they were trying to implement with him that he basically said that he couldn't improve him. And it wasn't too long after that he actually walked and actually left Shane.
Well, I don't know what to make of it, all this John Coffey situation, but he's had carte blanche from Bricktop. I mean, let's have it right. Kevin Lorena pinged him down 3 times. They rung the bell after the third knockdown, and didn't he get let off by about 16 seconds before bell should have really gone off. But they cut the round early to save his arse because they knew he were going to quit, didn't they, after that third knockdown?
Well, Russell, you're absolutely right in everything you said there. That's just that's just an observation you're making. But they weren't too quick in actually calling for a rematch with Kevin Lorena, were they?
No, they weren't because he was a southpaw, and it's hard to get southpaw sparring. We know that, don't we?
And at that stage, Kevin Lorena was a cruiserweight, really.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fully fledged heavyweight. Kevin Lorena now is a fully fledged heavyweight. So for me, that was when the cracks started appearing, and the cracks were already there. The cracks were already there in the Joe Joyce fight.
Yeah. Well, he's
You
quit
know,
three
and
times now, hasn't he? But nobody dare mention the word quit in the media, dare they? But we'll come to that when we do our media one later. Okay, then. So, John Coffey, what next for him? Where does he go? Does he fight again, or is he on the scrap heap?
I don't think he'll fight again. I don't think he. I think the amount of money he's made,
Yeah.
the two Usyk fights, the Joshua. You look at the two Usyk fights and the Joshua fight. That's generational wealth right there. That money is
Yeah.
is enormous. That's generational money. So I can you see him dust himself down and wanting to go into the vigor of camp and
No, I
training and
can't. All
sparring
I'm seeing now is silk pajamas.
and being hit like that fight was over after about 15 seconds when Usyk landed that up jab right through the middle.
Yeah.
And
Derek Chisora said that, didn't he?
the horror in Dubois' face, that was it over. I actually said, I was watching it in company, and I said, "Here's me. This is over now." I says, "This is over now." I says, he's going to find an easy way out now." I don't want to discredit Usyk's performance. Usyk was sublime in that performance. You know, he was. That's the first time I've really seen Usyk really sit down and shots and really punch right through the target, be really aggressive, in front of Dubois, and he wanted to knock him out. And as that old saying that Usyk said, "Don't push the horses."
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Well, listen. Thanks, Ken, for your opinion on that. We'll move on to part 4 now then. All right, I'll see you on part 4. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Don't forget to click the link that's pinned up in the comments section. Have a little nosy at that. Booyaka. Pop, pop, bang.